Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we look at episode 3 of Bungo Stray Dogs' second season, or episode 15. Now, what a freaking fantastic episode. Holy shit. With this one episode, Bungo Stray Dogs season 2 has gone from, I would say second place of my top stuff of the season to first place. This was a phenomenally well done episode, and I can't wait to talk to you guys and girls about it, because honestly, it really was that good. So at the beginning, we have a very interesting little flashback, and it looks kind of like a story in itself, where we have a young Oda. This is what you can presume pretty fast, reading a book series, and apparently there is no part 3 to this book series. Now, the reason being is apparently it's a very bad book. Apparently it's very badly done, and all that. So the guy asks, "Why don't you do it yourself? Why don't you write part 3?" And Oda goes, "How can I do that? You mean for me to write it?" He goes, "Yes, because you understand life, you understand people, and you understand living." So we learn very quickly that this is the reason why Oda refuses to kill anyone, and we'll learn about that a little more as the story progresses. But more so, I kind of want to throw that out there because I want to talk about some other stuff that happened in the episode, and talk about when I get to those points. Now, we do have Oda waking up, so that was him dreaming the whole time about him, his memory and stuff like that. And Dazai's there telling him, "Oh, how do you feel?" Asking him, because we remember he got poisoned last episode. And he goes, "I feel like I've been hungover for the last 55 days." So I thought that was pretty funny. So Dazai talks to Oda about various things that they're going through in terms of the Port Mafia now dealing with the mimics out in the real field of everything. So they're dealing with them in the city, and more so at a particular area that they're dealing with. They have Adagawa going over there to handle it. And what's funny is Oda doesn't even wait. He just puts on his guns and he goes, "You know what? We're gonna go hit them with everything we got, right? So might as well have me go into the fray." And Daz is like, "Yeah, but you don't kill anyone. I mean," he goes, "Doesn't matter." He goes, I'm gonna deal with this, and deal with it the way I can." And I gotta admit, man, Oda is badass. I know Dazai is badass in his own right. I know why all the girls love Dazai. It's okay, but Oda in his own right is pretty badass. And he only gets more badass in this episode, but there were some cool moments, definitely. Now, Adagawa runs into the leader of Mimic, Guide, I think his name is, or I want to say Guide. And Guide over here is saying that he wants to be released from the world, so he wants to be killed. Sounds like Dazai in a way, God's truth. But Adagawa is like, "Oh, I'll help you do that, let me see if I can." And he tries to fight him and loses terribly. Like, you start seeing him do all these dodges, and Guy just seems to be one step ahead of him. There's nothing he can do in terms of stopping him. And Adagawa is getting his ass beat, essentially. He gets shot in the knee, and he's lucky he was able to block a bullet to the head. And Adagawa was going to be killed. He wanted to be killed by Guide, but Guide goes like, I'm going to leave you to maybe be stronger one day. Maybe you could do that. But in comes Oda, saving the day, shooting both guns out of Guide's hands, and that really surprises him, like, to the point that he's like, "Well, what the hell just happened?" And he's able to get Adagawa to safety and stay and help him out. Now, how ungrateful bastard that Adagawa is. I hate Adagawa. Like, one of the few characters in anime I will say I hate. He is so ungrateful that immediately Oda sees a premonition of the future using his flawless ability, sees a giant spear coming up from the ground, of which it's Adagawa's weird, tentacle spear thing. And he starts trying to fight him and try to kill him because he's Dazai's friend. But dude, the guy just saved you. What the hell? Damn. Like, honestly, what the like, Adagawa was an asshole in the first season, but now he's more of an asshole. Like, that's even possible. I didn't even know if that was possible. But yeah, Dazai just kicks his ass really fast. He punches him real hard and knocks him out. But Guide is now there, and he starts talking about various things to Oda. More so, he tells him, and this is kind of the reveal that I figured might be the case. He has a similar ability to Oda. He could see into the future using ability almost alike to Flawless. We don't know if it's exactly Flawless, but we get the idea that it most likely is a copy of some sort of his ability. And it's where we start seeing them kind of like gauge each other. Like, for example, Oda, it shoots forward, but not enough to kill, of course. And the guy goes, "Well, I saw that coming." He tries to shoot. He doesn't really actually shoot Oda, mind you, but he pretends like he's going to. And Oda keeps seeing various things of him getting shot and stuff like that. The next scene I thought was a little bit comical. I know it wasn't supposed to be comical, but it shows something very important that we do learn from a certain person in the next part of the episode. We learn that when two powers come together, it's something very interesting. We see that Oda is able to see further into the future and almost rewind and be like, well, what if I do this? What if I do that? And we see that, he dodges the bullet but still gets killed in the process, and no matter what way he dodges to. And I thought it was a little comical. Like you just keep seeing him get shot in the head for like 3 scenes, and I was like, I didn't mean to laugh out loud, but I did laugh a little bit with that. And I don't think it was the best way of doing it, maybe, but it's just I guess that's the only way you could do it. But Oda talks to him and says, "I'm not killing you. I don't do that. I want to be able to write the book. You remember the book in the beginning of this that I talked about? He wants to be able to write a book based off his favorite book. He wants to be able to sit down and write it. But the thing is that for him to write it, he wants to understand life fully. And if he takes life, he will not be able to write that book. Remember those lines, by the way. It's very important. Now, they do end up meeting, of course, Agan, who has been in the cafe apparently for the day. Him and Dazai go to the cafe, find them there, and what's funny is they all talk, or excuse me, not cafe, it's like a bar, but you could call it a cafe, but it's a bar more than else. But they all talk about stuff like this. This is where you learn the gist of all this stuff. You learned about, apparently, he is not a double agent, he's a triple agent. He works for the division, which is this bigger, higher up ability that what they do is they are in charge of those with gifted abilities. They kind of keep an eye on those with abilities. So, for example, Dazai, people in the Port Mafia, etc., maybe in the Mimics also. And what's funny is that when he was working for the division, they said, "Hey, we want you to infiltrate Port Mafia." So he goes into Port Mafia and infiltrates them. Now, conveniently, the mimics appear out of nowhere. And when the mimics appear, by the way, I hope you didn't hear my phone. I'm sorry about that if you did. But the mimics appear, and so what the division says is, "Hey, listen, we want you to now go into the division and find out what's around the division. We want you to go to the mimics and find out what's going on over there." So from the Port Mafia, he acts as a spy for the Port Mafia for the mimics. It's very confusing, I know, right? That's crazy, but it's how it works. So he's a triple agent. He's in charge of everything here, which is kind of interesting. And what's funny is we don't know if he actually has an ability. It looks like he might have been lying about his ability all along and really does not have an ability of some sort. But, what's funny is that Dazai talks to him and Agan makes a reference like, "Oh, maybe we can hang out here later on after this is all settled." And Dazai's like, what makes you think you're leaving here alive? And no, but then Dazai goes, "You know what? I just leave before I change my mind. We can't be here together anymore, unfortunately, because Agan now has to worry about both the division, the mimics, and of course the Port Mafia, and they have to worry about killing him because he is clearly a traitor to them." Now, the episode goes into a very darker territory. We have Oda going back to the little restaurant and going there and seeing, of course, what I had a feeling might happen eventually in this show, where the old man that was there was killed. I don't want to call him old man, but the middle-aged man that apparently was the owner of the restaurant was killed. And he sees that when he goes upstairs, he sees a map, but he also sees that all the kids are gone. And outside, he hears a car starting up and revving up, and he sees a white van, and the white van has all the kids inside of it, and they're trying to escape the van, but they can't. He jumps out the window and goes to the car, but the car unfortunately explodes. I felt horrible for him here because, Oda. I'll tell you right now, one of the best things about Oda is him being a narrator. He is an awesome freaking narrator. I love his voice for narrating. I think it's one of the coolest voices I've heard for a Japanese voice actor to do for narration. I really do give a lot of praise to this dude. But he talks about how he hears screaming at one point, and it's really just him screaming. He is so upset. You can see from this image, is the last image that was played during the episode. But what's interesting, then he has another flashback to the books and all that, and the guy goes, "Are you gonna write your third book?" And he goes, "No, I'm not gonna be able to write my third book." And so that means I think Oda is gonna be very serious now. I think we're gonna see a shift in Oda where he's willing to kill people. And I mean, I can't blame him in this case because he's lost a lot of stuff that was important to him. Very fell swoop of things. So honestly, this was a great, great episode. I mean, it had everything I wanted from Bungo Stray Dogs. But overall, I just think it was the best episode so far of this whole series. Even the first season, I think this was so good. Anyways, guys and girls, I will talk to you later. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. As always, if you do enjoy the review, please hit the like button. I said please. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. I said it again, but I don't care. And comment, the whole nine. I will talk to you later. Have a blessed day, everyone. Bye-bye.